Hi, I wanted to talk a little bit about practising today, because this is one of the important things that is never really explained very well, and one of the elements of practising that I sort of get people to do, which I think helps, well, certainly helped a lot of my pupils, and it certainly helped me when I started doing this. One of the problems with practice is that there's anything really tangible about it, and you can spend ages working on something, and at the end of it, it can actually seem worse than it was when you started. And there are a number of reasons why practice is problematic. And first of all, it's the understanding of exactly what it is. There are a lot of people who play guitar or any instrument a lot, but they're not necessarily doing an awful lot of practice. If we think of practice from a point of view of programming information, which obviously we can all understand because of our involvement with computers, that's uploading new information, new data to the mind. And what happens is that stuff has to be instilled like a recording, just like you're recording something on your phone. So the stuff that goes in has to be accurate. Now that requires you to play it slowly and in small chunks of information. I always use the analogy of trying to remember a shopping list. Once you get beyond 4 items, you're going to forget something, unless those items in themselves are lists of other things, if you see what I mean. So as an example of that, if you went out to do some grocery shopping and you needed to get milk and tea bags and sugar and bread, butter, jam, and eggs, bacon, sausages. If that was just a random list, that would be really difficult to remember. But once you realise that you've got something for making a cup of tea and a jam sandwich and sort of a cooked breakfast, that helps you remember those items. But one of those, as a list of 10 things, that's sort of held in the intellectual part, the conscious part of the brain. Once you understand that there are groups of things for other things that are stored in the unconscious, like, what do you need to make a cup of tea, etc., then all you're remembering is 3 items. Now, practice is a little bit like that. People try to put too much information in one go, so you need to break it down to 3 or 4 bits, and those bits can be 3 or 4 notes or 3 or 4 parts of a scale or something that you recognise. And then the idea is, once that's in there, repetition enforces that information, and then you need to start to put it together like a jigsaw puzzle. Now, that's fine. The other element, a lot of people sort of teach that type of thing anyway, but the other element from my point of view, which is more to do with goal setting. So what you're going to need to do is make a list. I would suggest you make a list of things that you're going to work on as a general list that you can run off your computer, and then specify what you're going to do with each item. Say for instance you've got to learn a scale and you've got play the B major scale, and then put how many times you're going to do that. Don't say learn it, because you might not be able to accomplish that in that time. That's an undefined goal. What you need is something that has a defined outcome, that once it's done, it's finished, and then you move on. Now here's the trick. Once you've done that, cross it off the list, because it gives you that sort of little buzz that you've got that right. And there are very few things about practicing where you can actually get that. It's not like you spent a lot of time painting a picture and when you finish you hang it on the wall and there it is. You've got nothing until you do something tangible like that. So that works incredibly well. It sort of locks that sort of motivational thing in, and changes the brain chemistry, makes you really feel good about yourself. So you would do that. So you list all these things in such a way that they're achievable, and when you've done them, you just cross them off and move on. The other thing of having a list is that you can chip away at it, do a little bit, go away, put the guitar down, go off, do something else, come back and do something different. And that is the way that it sort of works, along with the fact that the conscious application of your planning is like setting the course that you're taking. Because a lot of practice, so-called practice time, is not practice time at all. It's people just sort of twiddling around playing things they already know. And that's why, and a lot of people will know this experience of literally going round and round in circles technically. You see this with some people teaching guitar, because they're only giving people what the people want without actually within that moving them on. I don't say that's true with all guitar players, guitar teachers, because it isn't. But for some, I've had people come to me who've had lessons for quite some time, and all I've ever done is a series of songs by bands like Green Day and Blink-182 and everything, which is absolutely fine if that's what you like and you don't want to go anywhere. Because by the time you've got the fifth chords down and you've got a couple of those songs, the rest of it is primarily the same. So, and that gives that sort of circular circuit as a teacher, which is fine if people keep turning up and giving you the money. That's okay, but if you're looking for any sort of development technically, that doesn't work. So, setting a course of action consciously first about what it is that needs to be done, and then just working through it. It's a very, very effective way of organising your practice. So I'll leave you with that. Try that out, and I'll see you very soon. And technically, you'll be even better than you were from just listening to this. Cheers.